Hey everyone, Chris Crazyhouse here again, and we are going to be discussing an interesting topic. Another one of these SJWs complaining about lack of diversity on a show. But this time the show is a kids show that only features animal characters. So yes, they're actually complaining about lack of diversity on a cartoon of a bunch of cartoon animals. So we're going to be talking about that today, folks, on this episode of Chris Crazy Commentary. And before we do, just let me say, if you want to support Chris Crazyhouse, you can always go to my online store. I have my coloring books, my comic books, posters, and stickers, and graphic novels all on sale at my Chris Crazyhouse store. Links will be in the description box as well as the comment section. Also, if you want to support Chris Crazyhouse, you can always become a Patreon. Become a Patreon at Chris Crazyhouse, $5 a month, and you will receive great artwork that is exclusive to my Patreon. That includes coloring pages that you can download, print, and color for yourself. You can also receive clip art that you can also download and use for whatever your art endeavors are. And you can also download artwork that you can use as the backgrounds for your TVs, if you have any type of screens for your laptop or screens for your mobile device. So you can get that all on my Patreon. Like I said, $5 a month. Once again, links will be in the description box as well as the comment section. So let's talk about it. The show that is, well, let's slow down for a second and just say that as far as it goes now, this show was only accused of not having diversity by one woman. I think some woman in Australia wrote about it, but I guess it's starting to pick up steam on social media from both sides. Either people who think it's ridiculous that they're talking about diversity in a kids cartoon like this, and those who are actually have no lives and are actually taking this seriously. So the show in question is actually an Australian show, but I think it's actually just got picked up by Disney Junior. It's called Bluey. I actually watched maybe the first 2 episodes of it because I like to study kids content to see what's popular out there. And it looked like an interesting show. I mean, there's nothing really original about it. It's about a little cartoon dog named Bluey and his family and the things they get into and learning about, the basic things they try to teach toddlers on these shows. I mean, they pretty much recycle the same story points all the time, as far as like learning how to share, learning how to tell the truth, learning how to be nicer to other kids and stuff like that, learning, not to lie to your parents, just little things like that. Typical stuff. I mean, I've gotten more into seeing this type of content, obviously, because I have a young child in the house who's 6 years old now, so to her this is considered baby stuff, but she used to be a big fan of cartoons like this, so I've seen it all, folks, right? But usually when they develop shows like this to avoid any type of criticism of lack of diversity, what they do is they make all the characters animals, and that's exactly what these characters are here on Bluey. They're very much these anthropomorphic characters. They're all dogs, I believe, and different types of dogs, but they're kind of drawn in a certain style that gives the world more togetherness, so it all looks like it's drawn in the same style. But from what I've seen, I mean, like I said, it's a cute show. I didn't see anything wrong with it, and when watching it, the first thing in my mind was this show lacks diversity. But I'm not everyone, and I don't have the same mindset, obviously, as some of these people. I actually have a life to get through and more important things to worry about in my life, other than whether there's diversity on a toddler's cartoon. But they have this woman here who says that she is very, she has young children. She watches a lot of this types of content as well, and to her, she's always wondering, are these shows diverse enough? And she's looking at this show with anthropomorphic dogs and wondering, is it diverse enough? Now, so she's like, where are the disabled dogs? Where are the queer dogs? Where are the poor dogs? Where are the gender diverse dogs? Where are the dogs of color? And where are the single parent dog families? I guess she doesn't like the fact that there's, dog families with a mother and father. That's an issue that I talk about a lot on my other channel. I won't get into that here, but I do believe there is a concerted effort out there to destroy the nuclear family. So, I know that sounds like I'm king conservative or something like that, but that's just how I feel looking at things. They try to make us seem like we don't exist anymore. People who do have and who foster a nuclear family. But I'll talk about that somewhere else. But like I said before, usually what these shows try to do is teach values and try to teach kids just the basics of their, stuff that they should know before they get to kindergarten or get to preschool or whatever, right? So, and like I said, they usually try to avoid the whole diversity discussion by making all the characters animals. But now you can't even do that without getting criticism and getting questioned for what you're doing, even if you have different types of dogs. And I have to wonder, what would this lady say? Like, how do you show queer dogs? That's the thing about how they, because how do you not know that? How do you know if any of these characters, any of these dog characters aren't queer? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you think? Do you think that that gay people just present themselves 24/7? Like, that's how they introduce themselves to others, as, hey, my name is so and so and I'm gay. Hey, my name is so and so and I'm trans. I've met and worked with and played with and everything else with different people who were in the LGBT community, and none of them have ever introduced themselves to me that way. You found out later on, maybe, or whatever, but for the most part, people are people, right? So, and people have lived their lives just the same as you do. Not just because they engage in something else behind closed doors does not make them different from you, really. So I wonder, how are you supposed to show that and visualize that in a kid's cartoon? Kids aren't thinking about sex at that age. Okay, no matter what some of these social scientists will tell you, that's not the main focus of what kids are thinking about. Even my daughter, who's a little bit older now, when she's outside playing, she's thinking about, what kind of cupcakes she's going to make outside or whatever, right? She likes to make cupcakes and stuff out of mud and dirt and whatnot. That's what kids usually think about. Or playing with Play-Doh, or watching their favorite show, or playing their favorite video game. They're not thinking about, what the person is doing behind closed doors, and if they're single sex, or if they're gender diverse or whatever. And also, how do you show something racial about dogs or animals or whatever? How do you do that? And how do you do that without being offensive in that way? You realize that Disney has been taking some of their content down because they said that the same type of people who are saying they want diversity were also complaining that those old Disney cartoons had racial stereotypes in their anthropomorphic characters. So, you think about those two crows who were supposed to symbolize black people, I think in the Dumbo movie, and then you have the Siamese cats who are an Asian stereotype from the Aristocats. That stuff can get you in trouble. So of course, when people develop certain cartoons nowadays, they're very conscious of that. If they're going to develop these characters, these animal characters, they can't go overboard with the race, because then that's going to be seen as racist. And I agree with that. Like what are you going to do? Make a pit bull that's the black dog, a pit bull family? Is that what you're going to do? Are you going to make a little Pomeranian, the Asian family? You know what I'm saying? So you have to be careful how you design these characters nowadays, because you don't want to get in trouble. But now, even if you leave them as generic as possible, because even these dogs, they're very generic. They all have a rectangular shape to them. And I think that was just to avoid any issues as far as the design goes. Keep it simple. It's easy to draw over and over again. But now, even if you do that, now you got complaints from some of these Nimrods out there who, like I said, they can't just watch a kid's cartoon. They're just so locked into thinking about what's diverse and what's not. They're the diverse police and the representation police. You gotta see what's going on, look behind the curtain all the time. But, you know, they don't think about anything normal when watching these cartoons. And to be honest, their kids are not thinking about what's diverse and what's representation or whatever. They're just looking to see an entertaining cartoon for a few minutes. But, you know, like I said, these people are so locked into this nonsense, and they have it so stuck in their head, and now they have to complain about something that there really is nothing really there to complain about. They make up stuff to be upset about. I might be able to see this if this was a cartoon with humans in it, but like I said, these are anthropomorphic animal characters. What more could you try to squeeze out of that? You know, it is what it is. There's nothing to read into or whatever. And they said, where are the poor dogs? So you're gonna have a dog living on the street? Is that what you're gonna have in this? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. You can't even make kids content nowadays without having the SJW politically correct police show up and try to change what you've created. And it's a shame that artists have to go through that. You can't just make what you want to make. And even if you're trying to make a wholesome show, now they're going to try to give you all these categories you have to fit into in order to have a show. It's ridiculous. You folks let me know how you feel about it in the comments section. I would very much like to hear your opinions on this. And if you've seen just the clips I've shown of this cartoon, you can see what I'm talking about. Anyway, guys, let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll see you next time. I'm sure there'll be something else next week. That's what these people do. They worry about one thing one week, and the next week is something completely different. Anyway, Crazyhouse signing out. Peace.